Boy, there are a lot of skills in God of War Ragnarok. There's fire skills, there's frost skills, there's even skill mods, which is new in Ragnarok. In this video, I'm going to break down the best skills to get early and the simplest way to unlock skill mods for those said skills. Let's go. Firstly, just want to make clear no story spoilers in this video or major bosses. I'm only showing footage from the first 3 realms and 1 side realm, so you should be fine to watch this video. First, we'll start off with how to unlock skills, especially the ones later in the skill tree. So skills are unlocked the same way as in 2018. Sadly, some of the skills here are basically exactly the same as 2018. However, there is the new skill mod system. In order to get the higher level skills, you'll need to upgrade your weapon at the dwarf's shop with either the frozen flame or the chaos flame. And these will increase the weapon stats and its damage, but it'll also unlock the next part of the skill tree for you so you can continue progressing and unlocking some of the higher level skills. It's also worth mentioning that if you are unlocking skills and maybe you don't like the skill or for some other reason, you can actually disable skills now. So when you hover over the skill, if you hold down triangle, you can turn it off. So let's talk about the best skills to get early. That's the main crux of this video. And the main thing that you should focus on and that I want you to think about is the weapon status effects and how to apply them quicker as well as more efficiently, and also following up that elemental damage with comboing it with the other status effect. So in God of War Ragnarok, frost and fire damage and burn and frost status effects on enemies is significantly expanded, and you can apply this effect pretty rapidly with some skills and then switch to like the Chaos Blades if you've just applied frost and deal extra damage. So there's 2 skills that you first want to pick up and then we'll expand from there. The first is in the Leviathan axe and its extinguished flames. Now what this skill does is it increases the Leviathan's axe damage to burning enemies, and in the Chaos Blades, the other like vice versa of this is the Vaporized Frost skill. You absolutely want to pick these up. You can get these like basically at the start of the game and it will just massively improve your damage overall. Initially in the beginning of the game, the only way you're going to apply those status effects on enemies is with that triangle skill, the Frost Awakening on the Leviathan axe or the Whiplash with the Chaos Blades, but your skills and your runic attacks will eventually allow you to apply those effects easier. But initially you'll focus on that, apply those effects, and then switch to the other weapon to deal heaps of damage. It's the most effective way to deal lots of damage quickly to enemies and switching between the weapons, which you absolutely should do. There's virtually no like animation cooldown to switch weapons, so you can do it very rapidly. Let's talk about Leviathan axe skills and then we'll do like Chaos Blade. We'll just like separate these, I think. We'll start with Leviathan axe. Now, the first thing that you want to pick up is the Frozen Ascent. Now, this is a little bit further down the line, but the purpose of this skill is for your Frost Awaken, and then you hold or press the R2 ability and you'll do like a frost wave on the ground, which will apply frost. It does heaps of frost damage. It's also AoE, which is really beneficial for encounters with lots of enemies, and it will help you apply that status effect faster than just using the Frost Awaken ability. Essentially exactly the same skill, except for just like holding R1 is the Glacial Rake, which will do a similar effect on the ground and it will apply high frost. It's probably slightly quicker to get off. I do prefer Frozen Ascent because I do have a knob on my axe that when I use Frost Awaken, it'll increase my defenses, but both of these effects will apply frost on the ground and allow you to apply that effect much quicker. Serpent Snare is another absolutely brilliant skill in the Leviathan axe line. When you hold R2, you'll deal like an axe attack that'll throw enemies to deal damage when they do hit the ground. It'll deal like a little frost on impact. However, the real purpose of this is that you can throw enemies off edges, which is like insta killing them, and it will basically work for all like normal sized enemies. It doesn't work on larger sized enemies, though you'll still get good damage for using it on them. It just doesn't grab them and throw them like it does smaller enemies, but absolutely a great way to just clear enemies out very rapidly and deal damage to them, especially if they're not paying attention or directly attacking you. And lastly, for the axe skills, I would pick up Vengeful Sickle or Freezing Throw, depending on if you prefer to hold R2 or R1 when you throw the axe. Depends on your personal preferences. You could, obviously you're going to get all of these skills eventually, but talking about early skills, I personally prefer Vengeful Sickle as it like staggers the enemy and holds them in place, so I can like throw my axe and it'll like do and like spin and like stagger them while I can go and do something else or use the Chaos Blade, so it kind of holds them in place for that little bit of time. That's my personal preference. Either of these are good, but the ranged options for the axe are significantly better than the blades, and we'll talk about the blades right now. So for the blades, in the same vein as picking up the skills for Frost Awaken activation, Scorch Sweep will do a similar thing for the Whiplash. So you'll whiplash and then you'll be able to R2, which will do a sweep in front of you, which will apply burn exactly in the same way that we were talking about with the Frost Awaken. For the blades, there isn't heaps of skills you necessarily need to worry about. I would mostly avoid the range line just as a personal preference. I don't really throw the blades very often. You can use them to pull yourself towards enemies, but I just don't see the point that much. I would be focusing heavily on the melee skills here and picking up Chaotic Rampage as early as possible. When you hold R1, you'll deal high damage flurry of attacks to a single target in front of you. Now this turns the blades from being their typical like AoE blades to being more of like a single target focus on something in front of you. It's a great way to deal like high damage really quickly to an enemy, especially if you're fighting one enemy, whether that be a boss or just like, you know, the last scrap that's left over. You can do this and it will deal high damage to just that one enemy, and you can buff it as you get further down into the skill lines as well. And realistically, you will want to pick up most of the other skills in here. The evade skills are okay. I don't really personally preference use the evade skills very much. Sometimes I remember to, but most of the time I honestly forget. I do like the sprint skills, so when you sprint and you R1 or R2, like you slam down on the ground, I do enjoy those skills. They just make you feel powerful, but they're not something that you'll use kind of in the general flow of combat. They're more as the, you know, if you're engaging or disengaging from encounters, which does happen sometimes. But the blades definitely feel secondary in terms of their skills. You really want to focus on the Leviathan axe, the skills we've mentioned, and then picking up these couple in the blades, and then focusing on applying those status effects, the runic attack, so you can apply the effects, get the extra damage bonuses you get, and then move on from there. Let's talk about those skill mods. Now, for all of your skills now, or most of the skills, you will see underneath the little video, it'll say skill labor, and then used, and a number, and then a total. This is how many times you've actually used that skill and progressing towards unlocking the skill mod on that skill. So when you use these skills, if sometimes you'll see like pop up, you'll see like bronze tier unlocked or silver tier unlocked. Once you get gold tier on a weapon skill, it will unlock the skill mod. Now this skill mod will allow you to unlock an extra effect that it will do. It could give you extra defense, it could apply extra frost or burn or something. It'll be different depending on the skill. Some of them share the effects, but some of them are unique. You will have to spend XP in order to unlock these. However, once you've spent that XP once, you don't have to spend it again. You can freely change whatever that mod is without having to imply that XP cost on top of that. So you can freely change around your build once you've spent those initial points, but you've just got to spend those initial points. Unlocking these skill mods will take time because you've got to actually use those effects on enemies in order to unlock them. And you've got to use it a few times depending on the skill. It will obviously cost more to do it. Now, the best way to unlock these is to go to Niflheim and do the challenges here. Now, these challenges will say like that you don't earn any XP or hack silver, which is absolutely true, but that doesn't count towards the skill labor. So you can go in there and essentially just like grind out these skills and you'll get that progression and be able to unlock them. You won't earn any XP, so you've got to have the XP with you so you can actually like unlock the skill mods. But once you've got that gold tier and the mod is available to you to buy, you can go buy it later even if you don't have the XP at that time. So you can go there and grind those skill mods as soon as it unlocks for you and spend that time to get them, because it will absolutely make a difference to your damage and your power potential in Ragnarok as you're exploring around, especially the ones when you can put like frost on those weapons. It does make such a difference in getting those frost effects off much quicker when you are talking about, you know, increasing your damage by applying the frost and then switching to the flame blades and vice versa. It really does help, so absolutely consider doing that. Check out my tips video if you haven't already watched that, and let me know in the comments down below what your favorite skills are for Ragnarok. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is Norza, and I hope you have a great day.